Hi, boys and girls. We're back to hear the ending of the chapter book, Mercy Watson to the Rescue. I hope you enjoy the reading as much as I do. Now, last time we left off with Ned and Lorenzo running towards someone screaming help after Eugenia Lincoln called them for a crisis in baby Lincoln's room. So we're going to see what happens. Chapter 9. Ned and Lorenzo ran toward the call for help. They went into the Watsons' house. Help! Ned and Lorenzo looked up. They saw a bed hanging out of the ceiling. They saw Mr. and Mrs. Watson holding on to the bed for dear life. What do you think the author means by saying holding on for dear life? I think that they mean they're holding on tight, right? Because they don't want to fall. "We are saved!" cried Mrs. Watson. "Of course we are saved," said Mr. Watson. "Mercy has alerted the fire department." "She is amazing," said Mrs. Watson. "She is unbelievable." "She is a porcine wonder," said Mr. Watson. Now, did Mercy really alert the fire department? No, it was Eugenia, wasn't it? Ned and Lorenzo ran upstairs. They picked up Mr. and Mrs. Watson. The Watsons' bed sighed loudly and crashed all the way through the floor. Boom! Mr. Watson looked at the hole where the bed used to be. "I have always believed very firmly in the fire department," said Mr. Watson. "As have I," said Mrs. Watson. "As have I." From outside the Watsons' house came a squeal. "Gotcha!" shouted Eugenia. Who do you think Eugenia has got? We're going to go to chapter 10. Ned and Lorenzo and Mr. and Mrs. Watson all went outside. Eugenia was sitting on the ground. Her arms were wrapped around Mercy's neck. Her cheek was resting on Mercy's back. Eugenia was breathing very loudly. Why do you think Eugenia is breathing very loudly? I think she's probably tired from chasing Mercy. Although Mercy, if you look at that smile, Mercy doesn't seem to mind being chased at all. "This pig," she said, "was on my property." "We'd prefer that you did not call her a pig," said Mrs. Watson. "We would prefer that you call her a porcine wonder," said Mr. Watson. "After all, she did save us. She's a hero." "She's a pig," said Eugenia. She started to cry. "There, there, sister," said Baby. She bent over and patted Eugenia on the back. Mercy yawned. She was very tired. "I guess that's it," said Ned. "Yep," said Lorenzo. "Our work here is done." "Wait," said Mrs. Watson. "It's almost time for breakfast." "Oink," said Mercy. "That's right, breakfast," said Mrs. Watson. She kissed the top of Mercy's head. She looked up at the firemen. "Do you boys like toast?" Chapter 11. In the Watsons' house, around the Watsons' kitchen table, sat Eugenia, Lincoln, and baby Lincoln, and Mr. and Mrs. Watson, and Ned and Lorenzo. And Mercy, of course. She was the one at the head of the table, in the seat of honor. And in front of her, on her favorite blue plate, was a very tall stack of hot buttered toast. "A toast to Mercy," said Mr. Watson, holding up his glass of orange juice. "A toast to our darling, our dear," said Mrs. Watson. "A toast to Mercy," said Baby. There they are, holding up their orange juice as a toast. Mercy's licking her lips. She's waiting for that toast. She loves that toast. And then look at Eugenia. Eugenia is not happy at all. We know how she feels about this. "In my opinion," said Eugenia, "pigs should not be toasted. In my opinion, pigs do not belong at the kitchen table." To our hero, said Mr. Watson. Where would we be without Mercy? Yes, said Mrs. Watson. Who would have saved us? I can't imagine, said Ned. Me neither, said Lorenzo. They all clinked glasses. Mercy had another piece of toast. Chapter 12. Outside the Watsons' house, the sun was rising. First the sun was red, and then it was orange. It rose higher and higher. Inside the Watson house, Mercy was lying on the couch. She was getting ready to take a nap. Bright, bright is the morning sun, sang Mr. and Mrs. Watson together. But brighter still is our poor kind wonder. Mercy smiled. She closed her eyes. She was asleep before Mr. and Mrs. Watson even finished the song. You know, boys and girls, that has me thinking. They started the book by singing a song to Mercy and was trying to put her to sleep. And now they're ending the book with a song, putting Mercy to sleep. And all the while, they think that it was Mercy who called the fire department. But we know it wasn't Mercy at all. We know it was Eugenia Lincoln. Well, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed the story. Have a great day.